Milestones with Eileen.
Cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz a ti.
Life and Curly Cutie podcast.
Yay! Cumpleaños feliz. Yes! I love that. That's literally so perfect. Oh, I love that.
Happy birthday, Life and Curly Cutie podcast.
Yay! Congratulations.
It's my first 1 year old.
Yes, a milestone for sure.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Yeah?
Feels pretty awesome.
Feels like an accomplishment, I'm sure.
A big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Tears to my eyes. My goodness. Yeah, but welcome to Life and Curly Cutie podcast. In case you did not catch on, we're celebrating our first birthday today.
Yay!
With none other than Jasenia. Hi. Because she has been with me from the beginning, and I say this every episode she's a guest on, and she will be here for every single milestone that we have.
Yeah.
So why
2
not?
2 years, I'm here. 3 years, I'm here. 4 years, I'm here. For sure. And who knows, maybe even in a studio one day.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Eventually, when I get into my own place, I want to have like one room turned into a studio.
Oh my God, yeah. That'd have to be soundproof. You have to get those little pads that you can put up on the wall.
Exactly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I already have a plan. It's going to be great. Next year. Yeah, next milestone.
Yeah, for sure. I think if anything for the 2 year, I mean, you could obviously get that done even before then.
Yeah.
But I think it would be fitting if it's like the 2 year
Exactly.
and then you're already in a studio.
Exactly. But yeah, so welcome to, I don't even know if I said it. I'm just so caught up in all the emotions, but I believe this is episode 24. 24.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, so today on the episode, we are going to talk about what this year has been for Life and Curly Cues podcast. We're going to talk about how we felt because Jasenia was here for the very first episode. So we're going to kind of talk about how we were feeling back then as little youngins.
Oh my God. Just a year ago. But no, a lot can happen in a year. That's what's so crazy. Yeah.
And we're kind of just going to go from there. We're winging it this episode because, you know, we're celebrating. We're having a cheers, a toast. We don't have drinks, but, you know, if you're listening
later,
you're
we will
later. Just cheers it up, you know. Life and Curly Cues made it to 1 year. But one thing I want to get off my chest is right off the bat, I am very proud of myself for sticking with this. Because I do have a problem with dropping things.
Liking the idea of something, but not necessarily following through. Yeah.
Following through. And I have committed and followed through with this. And as I've mentioned before, there were a couple weeks where I didn't post an episode. But I was able to regain the motivation and everything. And I continue to stick with it. And
it's just a matter of like consistency. Like life happens. Like,
exactly.
You know, I'm sure you had like busy days and all that stuff, but then as long as you get back on to the horse, then you're fine.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. I just needed to get off that. Wow, I still cannot English. Wow, we have been in a full year of Life and Curly Cues, and I still cannot talk at all. But yeah, I'm proud of myself for sticking to something that I like to do and all that stuff. Because, I mean, if you look at it from the point of when I started the Curly Headed Cutie Chronicles, which if you do not know, that is the blog that started all of this type of thing. And that's kind of my, I guess I would describe it as my home base because I still post like all of my content within that type of blog
basically
system.
Like people can find all of your content on
exactly.
there. Yeah.
And so even with that, I had started as like blog type, like written posts and stuff. Yeah. And I didn't stick with that, but that's because my final end goal was to create this podcast.
Right.
And that was just kind of the temporary thing.
Yeah. It just seems like the way things work now, it's like everyone has a website for whatever it is that they're doing, you know? So it kind of made sense to have, even if it was just, you know, an add-on. I mean, if people reach out to you, they're going to find your website and that's essentially like your portfolio. So no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's think back to the very first episode. And if you are listening and this is the first episode you're listening to, welcome. Go listen to the other 23 episodes and kind of binge and catch up. and see. Oh, wow. I'm getting sidetracked so much. But this is actually going to, I don't know if this is going to be, I'm going to put my podcast episodes into seasons.
Okay.
And so every year is going to be one season.
Okay, yeah.
So
I like that.
Essentially, this is kind of the finale of season 1. And then everything after this will be season 2.
Oh my God.
So
I like
every
that.
year I'm going to have
and
a
that's
season.
I'm sure there's a cool way to put that on your website too.
Yeah.
Where it's like season 1 drop down and like all the episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like right now I have just playlists on my YouTube channel where you can see binge listen to the whole first season, and then the next episode will be on its own playlist.
No, yeah, it's just better to keep it like organized.
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, so welcome if you're listening. Go binge listen to all of my other episodes on whatever platform you want to listen to. But let's go back to that first episode and kind of think. So it was called Life and Everyone's Married But Us.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh my God. We're so. It's like let me tell you.
So let's tell you. I am still
not
very single and still very not married.
And guess what? Me too. Still super single. Not even proposed to, at least. But yeah, we're here.
So that hasn't changed.
Nope, that hasn't changed. But a lot has gone on between both of us.
Yeah.
Throughout the year, a lot of good, accomplishments, a lot of growth.
Yes, for sure. We've definitely gotten better at this whole podcasting thing since the first episode. So.
I really enjoyed it. Anytime she's like, hey, let's film, I'm so down.
Yes.
Like,
And what's funny is when I was thinking about this episode and celebrating the 1 year and thinking back to the first episode, it's very funny because I'm just repeating everything I'm saying. The very first episode when we recorded it, that episode, I think I got it down to like 40 something minutes long.
That's right.
Okay, y'all, you do not know this unless I mentioned it somewhere, but I doubt it. We recorded for 2.5 hours. We talked.
I remember.
For 2.5 hours. I spilled so many beans that none of y'all heard. And it was great.
Maybe you should have like at the end of every season.
I'm not sure if I'm ready to share that information.
No, but I'm saying like maybe at the end of every season, you should do like an outtakes.
Ooh.
Maybe like your favorite moments.
Yes.
And not even so much where you have to film an intro. I mean, if you do film an intro, it's like something short and sweet, like, hey, this is the season 1 outtakes. Hope you enjoy it. And then it's just like cuts of like random funny things that happen.
Maybe I'll include that at the end of this episode.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. We'll say our goodbyes at the end of this episode and then keep listening. And you'll outtakes. Just hear funny little clips from when things went wrong.
Even if they're like tongue twisters out of it's like, oh, I can't talk, I can't English.
Or if I'm telling my future self, don't put that in.
I know, yeah. That's exactly it. I like that. No, yeah, that'd be a cool little thing to add on now.
And when I started this podcast, reflecting back, I video recorded the first few episodes, I think.
I think it was like the first 3 or 4.
I can't remember how many I recorded.
Because I remember you did one with your friend too.
Yeah. I recorded a lot on camera, and so I'll probably insert those if the audio clip correlates with the video clip. I'll probably put that in too. So keep posted, guys.
Yeah.
But that's something that's changed tragically.
Oh There's another one.
Dramatically. I had originally wanted to do an audio visual podcast, and I loved the idea of it just because I love editing videos and I wanted to kind of make it look more comfy and stuff. But y'all, the reality of it all is that takes a shit ton of time.
It does.
Especially with a podcast itself, because you're recording the audio, you're recording the video. It was a whole process in the editing stage where you had to like listen and look and match up the words with the video clip and make sure everything wasn't off by like a second or something. And
oh my God, yeah, like so meticulous.
It was so tedious, and it got to the point where I just did not have the time or the patience to edit it, which is why now I'm strictly an audio podcast. Yeah. I think eventually in the future, if this podcast kind of gets bigger, I would love to go back to video, because that's fun. You get to actually like see us,
because by the time you're in that space, it's like, okay, you would be able to invest more of the time into that, you know?
Yeah.
And then by then it's like you kind of elevate everything about the podcast.
Exactly.
So yeah, naturally you would go into audio. Well, yeah, you're in audio and then you go to the visual, especially like what we were saying when you do have your studio, then it's like, of course you're going to have visual.
Yeah. And it's something I really wanted to do, but realistically it was not working out for me. And that was another thing. I didn't have an actual like studio type thing because when we filmed the first episode,
it was on your couch,
on the couch in my living room at home. It was so echoey. We were holding the microphone, so the audio was terrible. Now I'm fancy. I have stands, and so it went from sitting on the couch the first 2 episodes because I had you and I had my mom on the couch. And then by the 3rd episode, I was recording in my room on my bed, which I loved that vibe. Yeah. I think, what's his name? Ron, who plays Ron in Parks and Rec? What's his name? Ron Swanson. No, that's the character's name.
I know, but
okay.
The actor, yes. I don't remember. So,
right?
Oh my God. Now I'm gonna Google it.
What's his name? Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman?
Offerman, I think is his last name.
Yeah.
So him and his wife, who is also Tammy on Parks and Rec, they have, I think it's like a podcast or like a series where they're just chilling on their bed talking with their guests.
Love that.
Which I didn't know that was a thing until after I was recording on my bed. And then I saw that it was a thing and I was like, that gives off such a cozy, like warm and inviting
like
vibe.
A way more personal too.
Which is what I wanted to do with this podcast anyways. Like right now we're both just chilling on the couch.
Because if you think about it, that's how most people have like most of their conversations, like with their friends. Like they're just at home, they're on the couch and hanging out in their room. Like, you know. And yeah, it's very relatable.
And that's why I wanted it to be a video podcast and I wanted to just make it cozy. Like I even told everyone, like, take off your shoes, like get really comfortable. That type of thing. And so then, I transitioned into just recording the videos in my room, on my bed. And I had like a clearish background, but if you look back at the first few episodes that I recorded, there's a Picky Piggy poster, which will forever be part of my studio. Whenever I have a studio, that poster will be there.
It'll make an appearance. So funny.
Again. Yes, it'll be a staple
item. I love that.
But another reality of the video recording is when you're actually in person video recording. I don't know if you remember, but like every 30 minutes, I would have to get up and press the record button
camera, it stops recording automatically after half an hour, which is so annoying.
I hate
but
it.
It's just a setting that most DSLRs have. So I'm sure, like, that's true. You had to keep getting up.
I had to be like, hold that thought. Yeah,
we would be in the middle of like a good part too, and it's like, oh shoot, we have to stop for a second.
Yeah.
So
with the first episode, I did not know that about my camera because I haven't had a mirrorless DSLR or I haven't had a fancy camera in years that actually like records, just one that takes pictures. And so with our first episode, we talked for 2.5 hours, but only like 1.5 or maybe 2 hours worth of video footage was there.
Oh, that's right, because we would be talking and it would have stopped like 10 minutes ago and we didn't notice. Yeah,
we didn't know until I saw that the red button wasn't there anymore. And
you're like, hold up.
Excuse me.
No.
Yeah. So that was another thing. So the first episode was definitely a lesson learned.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
which that should be everybody's episode.
It's
that's
totally fine.
All the things happen.
And that's the problem is I feel like that's why a lot of people are so afraid of starting things like this because for some reason, I guess maybe it's perhaps the climate of the industry. Like everybody seems so put together and so professional, but it's like, no, I mean, you have to start somewhere, you know, you don't have to have all the perfect equipment. You don't have to, look a certain way. You don't have to have the studio right away. Like everyone starts somewhere. And there's a lot of YouTubers that we really enjoy that they started their podcast in their house and then now they have a studio and they have partnerships with like these podcast companies. Like you get there eventually. Yeah. It's just a matter of consistency. That's the big difference.
Yeah. And so, those are like the technical things of the first episode, which I think are just hilarious. And the fact we're getting better at this because we talked for 2.5 hours. And then after the episode we recorded after that, we talked for like an hour and a half. And then...
That's the thing. Like, the content's there. It's just the technical stuff that's like we've tripped up a few times.
And then the last episode we recorded together, we recorded, I think, like an hour and a half of footage again. And then this episode, for sure, we're only recording like an hour because we got places to be after this.
I know.
We're on a timeline.
True. I was like, wait, what time is it?
I know.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
We had audio issues before.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, we're not going to be able to record this today.
No, I mean, it's you start somewhere, and I mean, you've come a long way already anyway.
So what are your thoughts or like memories from that first episode?
I mean, it's kind of like what I really enjoyed, what I was satisfied about from the episode is that it really reflected how we have our normal conversations.
Yes.
Like, none of it felt like forced or scripted. Like, it felt natural. And I was just like, oh, it's just the only difference is I'm holding a microphone to myself. And I know that I'm going to hear this again later. But, you know, I'm glad that we were able to translate that.
Yes.
Because it's hard for people to connect to podcasts when it all feels super like scripted or it's mostly ads and people are just talking about products. Like, if it's not, you know, a good content, then people don't want to hear. So that was one thing. And then the other thing too is just like the fact that it's something that was important to you and that I was able to help you with that. And I know at that time we both had like certain goals in mind as far as like what we wanted to do for that year. So to be able to help you do that, and not even just the first episode, but like any other time you needed me to be on, or we had like some idea and then we decided, okay, well, we'll go ahead and record it. Like that for me was my favorite part, my satisfying part of it. Yeah, for sure. And then to still be a part of it is really cool.
Yeah. You will always be my go-to. Like, yo, what you doing today? You want to record a podcast?
Nothing,
Let's
you know. I mean, it's just, if you think about it, I mean, because I know that when eventually, once the video, comes in and stuff with the studio and all that, that's going to change, I guess, in terms of like scheduling, blah, blah, blah. Because it'll be like, you have to go to like a specific place. Yeah. But I think if anything, it by then it'll just like elevate it to a whole different level.
Yeah. And I think in the future, I don't want to I want to have it like in my home or something. Like I want to have an at-home studio because I don't want to have to pay for rent in a place.
Oh my god,
like
imagine
an office space or anything like that.
Paying for like storage alone is so expensive. Imagine like an actual like renting out an office.
So I would want to convert like a room in my house or something like that. Into like the studio room. But it's all about being comfortable, and that was my goal initially, was wanting to create a podcast where I could just have an open, natural conversation with my guests, which all my guests so far have been my friends.
Yeah, good.
There's no other way I would have wanted it to go. Where my first year being, I interviewed friends and things. Yeah. And friends. Because it's something where, yes, I was interviewing my friends, but they were sharing stories that I hadn't heard of before. And so
that opens up like a whole different, area of friendship between you all. And it allows listeners to have a different perspective from someone else. Exactly. And it's not just, the host who's always there, but you have, a guest that can kind of share a different perspective. Like I love when you had your mom on and she shed light on her organization like that. I think that's great. So it's like, now I guess maybe for the next year, maybe your goal could be to perhaps reach out to some people who you don't know. Maybe they are public figures in town, or they have an organization that they're proud of. Yeah. And I'm sure that, that's easy to find. Yeah. People here, San Antonio is such a, I don't know, it's got a really good digital landscape. Like everyone is so aware of like social media and podcasts and all that stuff. Like they're so into it. It would be easy to find someone.
I think I agree with you on that one. And for me, it's more of I don't know just yet how I would want to go about that, just because I could, if I'm going to reach out to people I don't know, I don't have like a common space or like a middle space where it's like, I'm going to invite a stranger to my family house to record an episode with me, or I'm going to go to their house to record with them. And so that's kind of why I'm like, in a way, I'm kind of waiting till I have like my own place where I can invite them to my own place.
No, and that's the thing. Like that can wait till then at least, but it's just like an idea for by the time.
I have been thinking about
definitely
that
for sure, and especially it would be perfect if there is anyone here in San Antonio who also has a podcast, and then you could be a co-host or a guest on either or.
Yeah, which is what's going to be happening at some point this year. I'm going to be getting together with another podcast that I met through my mom's like Facebook group connections and stuff.
Nice.
They host a podcast, and so since December we've been planning a collaboration where we'll record like one giant episode talking about both of our topics, and we'll both post the episode to our things.
Good.
So that's kind of a fun little first collaboration that'll be happening, which I'm excited about. I kind of teased it a little bit, but I just messaged them the other day, and I was like, "Yo, January came and went. We need to plan."
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, it's the new year. You got to hit the ground running for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've come a long way since that first episode, girl.
Lord.
Let's talk about some adulting updates. I mean, that is the theme of the podcast, so we do need to stick back with that theme.
I know, yeah, that's true.
We've already shared our adulting story moment, so if you haven't listened, go back to the first episode and you'll hear it. I cannot promote it enough.
Yeah, totally.
But adult life, what has happened in 1 year?
Oh my God. Like, honestly, too much for my liking, but I get it. I mean, for me, 2019 has truly been like a year of growth, but not just as far as like, like goals or achievements, but more like as an individual, like how I handle my emotions, things that and very well, I mean, I've been able to reach out to Eileen anytime I've had like a total low, and she's been such a good friend, and she's such a great person to hang out with and be distracted by, and very supportive.
Really good at that.
Like, good Lord. Like, I valued her so much more than I already did before.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so for me, I guess it's just, I had a job as a social media marketing manager, and that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. And then the change there was the owner had a baby, and then I wouldn't say she lost her passion for it. It was just that I guess, vision changed. I don't blame her. I would be just as obsessed with my baby. He's beautiful. But also it was like the lease of the company or of the store was like only for 5 years. So can you imagine signing on for 5 more years and you're already hardly there because you just had a baby. So she just really couldn't feel that she could commit to 5 more years. So really essentially, and we were doing well, and she thought, you know what, I think perhaps I should quit while I'm ahead. Which was smart because a lot of boutiques now, they're really having a hard time. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but a lot of even big name stores are closing. They're, closing multiple locations, that kind of thing. So it's just kind of like changing with that, and then going into exploring starting my own LLC, Calypso Digital LLC.
Oh, snap. Look at that official name.
Yeah. So I'm working with another store here, and I won't name them, but but I'm working with another one, and she has a small team, very similar to the one that I worked for before, but there's definitely like gaps in terms of like, I guess she really wanted to invest more in the social media and digital marketing aspect, and because there really wasn't a lot before, or at least there was, but the people that she was working with definitely were not in any way doing what was necessary. Doing the job, basically. So I'm just doing that with her. And then I actually just got a new job that I didn't tell you about yet.
Snap. It's a Life in Curly Cues podcast.
I know. So I'm doing this freelance, right? And then now I'm working with Cozy Meal. So Cozy Meal is this company that basically they provide like cooking experiences. Where either you go to a chef's home or the chef comes to your home and you learn how to cook, certain dishes. But that's Cozy Meal. I would call it the mother company. And then the sister or the daughter company is the Golden Apron, which would soon be called something else. They're rebranding it. Where it's more so about same concept as Cozy Meal, but it's just experiences in general. Whether it's mixology, so a bartender can come to your house and teach you how to make drinks.
That's cool.
Or it's floral arrangements, or cooking as well, or even how to make, like just random experiences, even painting. They want to do a lot more. They want to make it a much more broader
so that they
experience.
Can get more clientele.
So they're hiring social media marketing managers as well. Except the interesting thing about this job is that it's remote.
That's
awesome. I'm working from home, and then anytime we have events here in town, I go to the events, I do the promoting for it, take photos, marketing, all that stuff. So that's really exciting.
Yes, that's a big girl move.
I know. It's so funny because I applied for it months ago, and I guess because it's still not something it's a service that hasn't been provided here yet. Cozy Meal is, but not the new one that they're rebranding. And so they're still kind of introducing it to San Antonio, and it's going to be introduced in Austin as well. And I'm actually going to have a partner that I'll work with from Austin, and we'll occasionally like meet up and all that. So I'm really excited.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm so proud
I actually
of
have
you.
to fill out the new employee forms and all that. So I'm ready for that. That's going to be a new chapter for me.
Everybody pause. A round of applause.
Thank you. I'm excited, and that's the thing, because that's what I wanted to touch on too. Is when we first started this podcast, when I was with you on the first episode, we discussed a little bit, about our adulting. But in that time frame, we were like really into like, okay, we want to do a blog, and I was really wanting to do a lot of with my Instagram and this and that.
We had gotten together to hold each other accountable.
Yeah, holding each other accountable, and we we're gonna plan a shoot. We had done a shoot already, and then we were gonna do more shoots,
which
basically.
We have not done
which
yet,
we haven't done, but we need to for sure. It's still January. No, I'm kidding. It's February. Damn it. No, but we'll talk about that. But it's so interesting. What I was gonna say is, I feel like because I was spending so much time doing content and marketing for other people, I never did it for myself.
Yeah.
So this year, despite I have this new job, and then I have the freelance job as well, I'm excited for those things. But I think that my goal this year is to be a lot more organized with things. And I have been. Actually, I've been, really proud of myself for that. I've been holding myself accountable a lot. I use a lot of sticky notes, but I have an agenda, and I really do write every detail, even if it's like, oh, expect a phone call from so-and-so on this day. I write it down. I just try to keep myself accountable and organized. So with that being said, having, this one job is totally not as demanding as the other one, as the new one that I have, because really I just visit maybe once a week, take photos, and help the girls and all that. And basically it's more of I wouldn't even consider myself officially an employee. I'm just an independent contractor with her. With Cozy Meal, I'll be okay,
full-fledged.
Full-fledged. So with that being said, I would hope to spend a little bit more time just on doing something for myself, and I don't even want to say it's about trying to become an influencer. It's just I really truly enjoy content, and I really really not just taking a photo and just posting it, but it's making sure the photo says something, it means something, there's a story behind it, that kind of thing. And for me, I wouldn't really even reach out to brands, but it's if there's genuinely something that I like and I post about it, okay, I'll tag them,
Girl,
I want to be so nonchalant about it. That's the thing.
I need to share you all my notes from that 7-day Instagram challenge that I took.
Oh, really?
Recently.
Oh, yeah, share with me.
You're saying a lot of things
I could do that.
was practicing.
Yeah, give me notes, and then I'll try. Maybe I can try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you noticed what my posts have been lately, but it's it's just kind of a lot of what I'm doing on my day to day, or if I'm out somewhere. I went to an art gallery, and I've never, or it was an art gallery opening for an artist from Austin, and that was really cool. It was a fun experience. So I thought, okay, no, if I think what we were saying is content that isn't relatable or genuine, it doesn't do well. You really do need those two things to have a great formula for success.
Exactly.
But
girl, we're going to talk so much more later.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. I'm good. I opened that can of worms, because I really do want to do that. And I guess also for me as a person, I've noticed that I have put so much importance and emphasis on other things that ended up being short term, versus I guess for me, I'm learning that the only thing that's long term is me, and what makes me happy, what I want to do for myself that's going to solidify my future and last long term. There are things that have the potential to last long term, but when they're gone, they're gone. And at the end of the day, who do I have? Me.
Yourself.
So, I definitely want to take this year. It's so weird because I was talking to my mom about this, and she was a little shook about it. Because, you know, mothers and how they're like, oh, like so cute. You're not going to get married yet. And, I want a grandkid. And it's like,
gosh, yes. My mother at the Thanksgiving table a couple years ago, I always mention this, and she knows I talk about this story all the time, but a couple of Thanksgivings ago, we were sitting at the table eating dinner, and all of a sudden she goes, soon we're just gonna have little babies, little children here. And I'm like, girl,
that's like my mom.
Calm it down.
And I told her all the time, I'm like, I can get a dog. I can get a puppy, a grand dog. She's like, it's not the same. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not just gonna marry whatever charlatan from la calle and just like have a baby with him. No. And oh my god. And so what I was telling her about was maybe you're gonna be shook too. But I maybe one, and I don't want to. I don't know if I want to say it's a goal, but perhaps maybe it's just not going to be a priority.
But like it's in your thoughts.
It's in my if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to be actively pursuing it. I will literally live my days for myself, not who I'm gonna meet, who I'm gonna see. It's for me, and my friends because I love them, and my family because I love them. But
still for you.
Yeah, I have no intentions of dating anyone in 2020.
All right, year of Jasenia.
Yeah,
dude,
I think this year should be the year of me. I'm single.
You deserve it.
Really, truly go out and just enjoy myself.
Yes.
And like, if someone comes around, fine. But it's more of a, for me, I'm gonna see it as like okay. The moment I see a red flag, bye. I'm not wasting time with this.
Girl,
and if anything, I'll be like, you know what? I just want to be friends. Can we just be friends?
Just friend zone them.
Can we just be friends? And then if next year you're still around, then maybe we'll give it a try. But right now, 2020 is, I have eyes for myself only.
I'm proud of you. I personally, honestly think this is what you need. Okay. Like this is, I'm
glad I have your approval.
Girl, yes. Yeah. I think for sure, especially because out of the time that we've known each other apparently since
technically
we were
children. For decades. Over a decade.
2 decades.
Yeah.
But from the time that I met you as we were adults, you have been in a relationship. And then like once one ended, there was like some time, but then you got back into a relationship after that. So I think girl, you need this.
It's fitting, and I do need it. I think so. Yes. Like it's like lately, I don't know. Last time we
single lady night.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like I've always had. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe it's because I started dating kind of young. I mean, I say quote boyfriend because we were babies.
Yeah.
I was like 13, and he was my first kiss, and that was it. And like we didn't really say like, oh, we're dating. It was just like, oh, like. I have a crush on you.
Go listen to episode 22 where we read our diaries.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, yes. That's what I'm saying. And then the one where all the girls were hating on me, and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't like him, but okay. But I think for me, for 2020, I think that's for sure something that and it's not, perhaps maybe I need it, but I know that I want it. I know that I really don't want to date anyone.
Which that's good.
Yeah. It's just, I want for me.
Yes,
for me.
Snaps,
and then
claps, all
with that
around.
being said, I guess it's kind of like that. All that does is really open up even more time for myself and for my goals and for what I want. And it opens up more time to spend with, with like my friends like you and my family too. And for it to be for sure a year of growth, but I think it's also a perfect time for me to really wrap my mind around what I want, not just for myself, but in a partner too. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be real with you. I hope I marry the next person that I date because I'm so sick of it. I'm really over it. I'm so over it. Like I just want to be with like him already. And obviously I'm not yet, so I'll just take the time to work on myself. So I can be the best person, not just for myself, but for him too.
Yeah.
And be an example. I think. Yes. I think every girl should like go through a period where they're just not dating and it's just themselves.
We have come a long way in 1 year. In one freaking year. That is insane.
But I love it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, but there's a part of me that goes, like when New Year's creeps around, I'm like, oh, like why? It's already
and now it's like Valentine's Day season.
Kill me. That's why I love that we coined Galentine's.
Yes.
It's like whatever. If we don't have Valentine's, our girls are a Galentine's, no biggie. But it's like, I think it's just a matter of kind of, I guess, like rebranding things for yourself, kind of like, okay, whatever. If this is the year that I'm going to be single, fine. I can just have more time for my friends, more time for my family, more time for me, my goals, instead of feeling like, oh, I have to maintain this relationship where I have to see this person every weekend. Otherwise, like, what's the point of dating if we're never going to see each other, you know?
Exactly.
And then it's like those are weekends that I have free now to spend with other people who I already know for sure are in my life long term, you know?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. That's why I don't like dating. It's such a wild card. Like, you meet freaks and geeks and
all of the above.
Questionable red flags. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then you're crying in your bathroom. And,
you know, life.
But yeah, I think that's something that I want for myself for sure.
Damn. Alrighty then. What a year.
Oh,
what a year it has been and what a year it's going to be.
It just started.
Yeah. Thinking back to when we first started, I think I was in the process of like almost transitioning into the position that I'm in now at work.
That's right.
And so I'm still at work, still in that position that I was transitioning to. Loving that position. I'm seeing such a different side of the education world that it's pretty cool, and it's got me thinking about like going back to school, getting my master's online, and doing all that type of stuff. Because a year ago, I had been off and on thinking about grad school, but I was like, no, I don't want to do it yet. And then the year I was working at the school, and then now in the position I'm working at the school, I am set. I am applying to grad school so I can start in the summer.
Good.
I already have like a set program I want to go into. It's going to be all online.
Yeah.
And I'm now just like weeding out the different universities.
I was going to ask like if you were going to go do Texas State again, or if you're going to.
No. So I'm going to go back to school to get a master's in environmental education.
Okay, perfect.
And so right now I'm kind of weeding through the different universities, because environmental education, there are different like types of that program.
Okay.
So like one school has natural science and environmental program or environmental education. One is a master's in curriculum and instruction with a focus on environmental education.
It sounds like that one's way more focused on like the classroom, like you perhaps being a professor in that,
and
you know?
it's different. It's a whole complex thing, and I'll talk to you off the episode about it because it's very long. But I messaged a girl that I went to high school with who just got her master's in curriculum and instruction on a different focus. But I asked her, I was like, what does that entail? Like, is that the same as the normal thing? And she kind of explained it to me. And so now I'm kind of going back and forth between which kind of one I want to do, but I'm set on for sure, like starting to apply, ordering my
at least getting that process going. Yeah,
that way I
can
start in June and
good.
start summer, because online it only takes like a year. So next,
oh my god,
my second year birthday,
and it's definitely not as costly too.
I mean, it's still pretty costly.
Really?
Yeah, it's still a lot.
You would think.
I know, right? But
like,
yeah,
I provide myself with all my own tools, my own laptop, my Wi-Fi too, and you're still gonna charge me.
You're still gonna charge me hella money.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, so that's been a big change in the past year. And yeah, I've been creating content for the school I'm at, because I am kind of their social media manager. And so this morning at work, I started a video and I finished it essentially when I was clocking out, and then I sent it in to get approved so that I could post it later this week. But my bosses were like, how the heck did you do that so fast? And I was like, I worked on it all day.
Oh, totally. And it's like, I've always felt like it's maybe sometimes it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Other times I just think anyone really can learn how to do that. It's just that, you know, those people, they have other, you know, things that they got to do. So that's why they had you for that position.
Yeah. So that's been kind of a thing in my personal life. I mean, still single. I'm at this point, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life.
No. Honestly, I think you'll get married before I do, to be honest.
No, we'll see.
Maybe when I get married, you'll find your boo at my wedding.
You know what?
Or the vice versa.
Maybe.
You never know.
Maybe.
You never
but
know.
He's out there somewhere.
Lollygagging.
Haven't met him yet.
Where are you at?
Honestly. And then again, I don't really have a social life, so how am I going to meet him?
There was like a...
maybe this year, now that you're going to do your whole single for a year,
then we'll
have a social life.
Yeah, that's true. No, I saw this thing it was on Instagram. It was like one of those, I wouldn't call them memes, but it's just like those text posts.
Yes.
where it's talking about like at 22, it's like, oh my God, like I want to go out and I want to meet a guy, blah, blah, blah. And then at like 29 and it's like, if it's meant to be, he'll find me in my house because I don't want to go out anywhere. It's like
me at 24.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, that's me now. Like, geez. No, I mean, I enjoy being social, but for me, it's totally about like who I'm with. Mm-hmm. I don't love going out and meeting up with people I don't know. It's so weird. I mean,
I tried it once when I was on Tinder. It was very weird.
Really? Yes. I have not been able to do that.
And then again, I met up with a person while I was like out with my girlfriend. So like he showed up at the place we were at, and then
you told me about him. Yeah, you guys just happened to be out at the same area, so he came in to see you, right?
He came in to see, okay. And it's still weird.
Well, at least you were like with your girlfriends and not like meeting him alone. So
something I'm very proud of that I actually did recently, but it's still in that year celebration of adulting. I cooked roasted red potatoes the other day. Ooh. And girl, I'm so proud of myself because I mean, I can cook some things, but I haven't like deviled into the things.
Other things.
I'm still at home. Like my mom and my dad still let's be real. Like
when you're part of a culture that is very like, I guess everything that we do, we eat. It's so surrounded by it. Like, we cook, but we cook what? Puerto Rican food.
Exactly.
But it's like a matter of taking that extra step of like, okay, let's try something else.
So we had red potatoes.
Oh, yummy.
My dad was cooking the meat, and he was like, I'm just gonna eat the meat, like you make your own side dish that you want that you want to eat.
Your dad just ate the meat?
Yeah, that's all he wanted.
Carnivore.
And I was like, okay. So I looked in the fridge and there were a bunch of red potatoes. And I was like, So I went to Pinterest and I was like, I know you
That's
can
where
bake.
I go to.
I was like, I know you can bake the potatoes to cook them, but like, what is the whole process of it? How long does it take? Girl, that shit was so easy and came out so good. Y'all, cut up red potatoes, season them in olive oil, garlic, Parmesan, parsley.
Parmesan is the key.
Put it on a pan, stick it in the oven for 30 minutes. Boom, you got roasted red potatoes, and they are delicious. So that is an adulting moment I'm very proud of lately.
Mastering a dish.
Mastering red potatoes, roasted red potatoes. It was great.
No, I personally love trying to cook like new things. But for me, I genuinely love potatoes. That's why I think it's so funny when you said that.
They're so versatile.
They really are. And it's so, but what's so frustrating is when I cook for my family, okay, get this. I always cook sometimes like diced potatoes. Yes. Right? And they'll get nice and soft and, a little bit of crunch on the side from like the skin. And it's like, okay, it's delicious. I decided to cook them like casserole style, like sliced. Okay. So kind of like stuffed.
Yes, like scallop.
Exactly. What is these? Why does it look like that? Why didn't you make the other one? I'm like, it's literally the same thing, just shaped differently. And I'm like, I can't try anything new here. I just can't do it. And then it's I really genuinely enjoy mashed potatoes. I can never cook it because they think, mashed, I don't like mashed. I'm like, it's potatoes. It's the same thing. It's easier to chew. Why would you complain about that? I can't deal. No, but totally like try other things. Like I really enjoy it. I tried making pup cake. A cake for my dogs.
Okay. I was like, I'm hoping that's what that means.
Yeah. And it's like, I imagine. And it's like Greek yogurt with peanut butter and like some wheat flour thing.
Okay.
And they liked it a lot. So it's like, just try different things. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we're going to go ahead and do the mug of questions to end our episode because we're kind of getting to that time crunch time. For this episode, because I want to include those little bloopers and outtakes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You want to have time for that, too.
Let's go ahead and do one question each this episode. And then, that'll be it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let me grab mine.
Yeah, and then from there, you'll hear the outtakes, and then we'll be on the end of the episode.
Okay.
All right.
We're both going to grab or no?
You go first while I grab.
Okay, my favorite holiday.
Ooh, okay.
And why? I don't want to be biased, but my favorite holiday is...
You're about to be biased.
Halloween.
Yep.
Why? First, it's actually my birthday. But aside from that, I genuinely enjoy like creepy stuff, horror movies, all that. And I don't know, it's just like there's such a vibe going on around the fall season, and Halloween just like tops it off. I love going to haunted houses, going to like the mazes, all that stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I just like creepy, morbid stuff. I'm very Wednesday when it comes to that. Like, I love those things.
That's pretty cool.
For sure.
It's funny you say that, because if I had to answer that question, I would also be biased in my answer and say Christmas, because my birthday is just 3 days after Christmas. Yeah,
it just lines up perfectly. Like it's like you're already on a high because it's your birthday, and on top of that, it's like a fun holiday. Exactly. You know, so that only kind of
we're both biased in that answer.
And I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, easy question. Favorite color? Okay. My favorite color is, it's like a mash of a lot of different colors. I really like blues and greens, but like soft kind of pastel blues and greens.
Pretty. Easy on the eyes.
But honestly, if you have any good color scheme, I love that color scheme.
And
if it flows, I like it.
Yeah, I would say the same. It's definitely has to do with like the color family it's in, how it's used, that kind of thing. Like, for me, you know, I love to wear black. Yep. I always wear black.
And monochromatic.
But the problem is it's so unintentional. And yeah, you're right. A lot of my wardrobe, like I'm wearing gray with like a navy pant. Like it's so monochromatic. But if I had to choose like something besides black, probably red. I really like, it's such a power color.
It is.
I really, like, I love like, anytime I look up dresses or if I need to wear a gown, I always am like attracted to red because it's so like eye-catching.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because when I was in school, in my like middle school and early high school days, when I was finding dresses for like dances and stuff, I never knew I drifted towards it, but I would always end up getting like blue dresses. Yeah. And it got to I didn't realize until like my aunt mentioned when I was shopping for a dress, like, oh, don't get another blue dress.
And then you're like, what do you mean?
I was like, oh, wait, shit. I always get blue dresses. And then there was one year when I got a red dress, and I like red really does make you pop. Like it looks good on a lot of people. It's such a
confident color. And that's the thing, is a lot of the girls that I've worked with over the years who are like new to pageants, and a lot of times they'll ask me questions, and I tell them like, you know, if you are genuinely, you know, nervous and maybe you're a little shy and this is all new to you, choose a color that makes you feel powerful. Yeah. And so a lot of the girls will go, especially the teens, they'll go for like the pop, you know, the bright blues or like the pinks or, you know, like something that's very youthful. And like the miss will go for like the sexy, you know, like whether it's like a really sleek black or that red. Another one is like white. White can actually be pretty bold for a gown too. Oh God. I don't know. Maybe you guys can look it up. I'm being very pageanty right now. But Miss Texas, it was a few years ago. She wore this beautiful white gown for Miss USA, and it had these crystals draping down her back. It was an open back, and so the crystals were just like brushing on her skin, and it was like long. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. Ileana Tadashi is her name. Look her up. That gown was killer. Yeah.
Well, Jasenia, this concludes
Yay!
our 1 year celebration.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is where we're going to end it. I had a whole segment planned to answer questions, but nobody submitted questions. Yeah, I'm a little salty about that, y'all.
It was a busy week. It was Super Bowl weekend.
I don't care.
I literally had a message from someone like, oh, if you didn't turn in this, even if it was due like Super Bowl night, Sunday. And they're like, I don't care if it was Super Bowl weekend. Like, you still got to turn that in.
So I had a segment planned, but that didn't happen because no one submitted questions. But this is going to be the end of the podcast. After you hear our voices, I'll insert clips of outtakes from the past year, and y'all can reflect as I reflect and all that jazz. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, by the way. Yeah,
for all of you who have been listening for the entire year. Thank you for supporting me and my endeavors and supporting both of us.
Yeah, thank you.
But you can find all of Jasenia's links in the description. You can find my links in the description. You can listen wherever you want to listen to your podcast. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. I am currently in the process of making a website because I learned the basics of coding. And so I'm making a website from scratch without any of those like subscription services.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're going to have to help me with
yes,
that.
I will.
Because that's why I stopped with mine, because I didn't feel like paying $100 every month.
Girl, I'm learning how to basic code. And with the Institute of Code, if you don't know who they are, go check them out.
Yeah, I'll go check them out.
But yeah, so keep an eye out for all those things. And thanks for celebrating. I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Here's some outtakes now.
Bye, guys.
Recording in 3, 2, 1. Boop.
Take 1.
That's like our mic check.
Boy, you keep ruining everything in this episode.
I'm not gonna lie, Johnny. I'm a creator too. I'm little small things.
It's an accident. I'm just moving my foot.
It was twice.
Hold for what episode I'm on. We're gonna take a pause because of the dogs. You're gonna do us like that, Jonathan.
Sorry.
Please silence all cell phones now. And then the ladies go, how old are you? And then I had to sit there and think about it. And I was like, I'm 23. And they're like, what? We thought you were like high school, teenager. I was like, nope, I'm a full-fledged adult with no military benefits. Hey. No, that's not it.
Sorry, yep, cut that out, please. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, I don't know.
How do you think it went?
Girl, that went so good.
Okay.
That went really good.
And cut.